Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are very, very privileged to have in our midst Honorable Commissioner of Education of Lagos State, somebody I admire so much. So please let us welcome Honorable Folashade Adefisayo.
Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo is the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Lagos State, Nigeria. Before her appointment by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, she had been an active player in the educational sector in Nigeria. As the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Adefisayo is supporting the Governor of the state, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in revolutionizing education in many uncommon ways. Before her appointment into the Cabinet of Lagos State, she was the Principal Consultant and CEO of Leading Learning Limited, an educational consultancy firm incorporated in 2014. Since she started her own consulting practice, she has consulted for public and private schools, state governments, NGOs, and development partners. Her areas of professional focus include teachers training, leadership training, school setup, and schools transformation. Mrs. Adefisayo has nearly 40 years working experience spanning banking operations, organizational restructuring, human resources management, international trade, and education. She retired from Corona Schools Trust Council in 2010 after serving as the Executive Director and CEO for 8 years. She voluntarily served as the Director of Corona Secondary School Agbara from 2010 to 2014. Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo is an education activist with a passion for student learning, school transformation, and teacher training. She is deeply concerned about the learning crisis in Nigerian schools and has volunteered to work with the federal government, Lagos State government, and Oyo State government. She is also dedicated in improving other people's lives and has served as a volunteer with a number of NGOs, Federal Nigeria Society for the Blind, Volunteer Corps, Junior Achievement, Faith Foundation, YEDI, Teach for Nigeria, Owando Foundation, SWAT Talks, among others. She was a Merit Award winner of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and a University Scholar of the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. In 2011, she decided to get certified as a professional educator and embarked on an online postgraduate course of the University of Nottingham. Mrs. Adefisayo graduated with distinctions at both the diploma and master's levels. Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo is widely traveled and has attended several courses and conferences in Europe and Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our first keynote speaker, Honorable Folashade Adefisayo, the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Lagos State.
Stand up. His passion for quality education. Ma, you have to go to the front stage. Ma, you I'm trying to move, you know. Integration. Yes, ma, we see you. We can see you.
Okay, do we have the Honorable Commissioner now?
Yes, she's here.
Oh, thank you.
But ma, we can't hear you. We can't hear your sound.
Ma, your audio, there seems to be a little challenge with your audio. We can't hear you clearly, ma.
I've unmuted myself.
Oh,
okay, we can hear you now.
We can hear you now, ma. Can hear you now,
yes,
ma. You're welcome, ma.
You can hear me. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Please allow me. I'm trying to get my headphones to work. And I will tell you first that I'm in the airport.
Yes, ma.
I'm in the airport and it's just crazy. Hello?
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
And I don't know, my AirPods are refusing to connect. Anyway, maybe I should just start. Thank you. So,
right,
okay, I'll just start. Can I start?
Yes, ma, please, you can go ahead.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Okay,
Please go ahead,
good
ma'am.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry, I'm in a very difficult place. I'm at Benin Airport trying to get back to Lagos. I thought I would be in Lagos by now, but unfortunately, I'm still here and my flight has not arrived. So you will please pardon me if you hear noise in the background. First, I must thank the organizers for inviting me to this conference. And I love the theme, the future is, I love the topic that the future is now. We're of course celebrating the International Day of Education. The future is now. And though I'm going to do some talking, I'm hoping that I'm going to do a lot of learning as well, because nobody knows everything and things are changing at such a remarkable rate that whatever one knows is probably obsolete within a short period. So the future is now. What do we mean by that? You know, a couple of years ago, we were saying things like the jobs of the future have not been invented. Technology is the thing, is going to happen in future. I remember going around giving presentations on and using a video called the glass, the future of glass or something, and what glass can do. It was an advert by a company. It looked wonderful then for people to be talking and people to be seeing them. It looked impossible to believe, but it's happening now. So the future is now. So those jobs that have not been invented are in the process of being invented or have been invented. And that means that we have to get our educational system up to speed. I assume I'm speaking to educators who have a passion for Africa. We have a lot of problems in Africa. We are still fixated somewhat in the obsolete system of education. We are still not telling our students who can cope with the digital age. And for somebody like me, that is a very, very huge problem indeed. So let me talk a little bit about, I don't like talking about problems for those who don't know, but sometimes you have to shock people a little bit with what is happening. Let's start with major problems. There's equity. How many children are going to school? Like people keep saying, even in Nigeria, we don't know the data, but we know that between 10 and 20 million children are out of school. That tells me immediately that we are not serious. If we do not know how many children are out of school. Between 10 and 20 million children are out of school. That means, and please, can you imagine what their lives will be like 5, 10, 20 years down the line? Social cohesion is going to be really very difficult when you have a huge population like that who basically have no skills for the life and the world that they are going to live in. So there's equity. And when we talk about inequity, about children going to school, it's most inequitable if we talk about gender. Girls are routinely deprived of going to school. Girls are routinely removed from school to be house helps or to marry, and that ends their schooling. And every index shows that societies where women play a major role, go to school, get educated, are the more affluent societies, the most affluent societies that we have in the world today. So there must be a positive relationship between girls going to school and the economic growth and development of any country. So and when you talk about girls, you have to remember there are also many other inequities. When we talk about something like in Nigeria, between states, within states, and across social economic status, what you have in many instances is that the children of the poor are consigned to certain poverty all lifelong. This was not so before. In the days of people like my parents, if you went to school, you broke the mold and you were certain that you were going to be comfortable, you were going to be at least able to look after your family, you are going to be able to contribute to society, you'll be able to vote, you'll be able to exercise your civic rights and totally understand what is going on in your environment. But what we have now is education is not doing that. Even when you go as high as university level, the joblessness means that there was a recent survey that tried to find out about graduates living well. And it was found that the average graduate does not find work related to their degree within the first 5 years after graduation. So what you're saying is when you go to university and you study and you come out, the likelihood that you will get a job that is, suited to your interests and qualifications would be like within 5 years. So what do you do in those 5 years? That's why you find graduates being drivers, being tellers, even going to the extent of being house helps and so on. I do not look down on any job. I think every job is important. But don't forget, this person has gone through about 16, 17 years of formal education, comes out and still cannot fend for himself. I have many friends and colleagues who are fending for their grandchildren, not just their children, but also their grandchildren. So there are many inequities. And when we talk about access, there are just not enough institutions. The whole of Nigeria, every year our students do JAMB, which is the entrance exam into university. And sometimes about 2 million of them sit for this exam. But our universities altogether have a carrying capacity slightly below 700,000. That means that no matter what you do, at least 1.3 million students who sit for the entrance exam into universities are not going to get it. The number increases every year because they will try again next year. And next year, a new cohort will have finished school and will join them again. So you can see the impact, the terrible impact on a young person who wants to go further or cannot go further. And that's because of the quality of the educational system. Because apart from the fact that we do not have, our universities have a low carrying capacity in Nigeria, there's also the fact that we do not give our students enough options for them to go to school, for them to get skills and get jobs. When you think it's assumed for anybody who sits through university education is going to go to university. But we know that the carrying capacity is just 700,000. So the remaining 1.3, why haven't we designed solutions for them? Why haven't we looked at alternatives for them? You don't have to go to university. Many who go even read courses that effectively render them unemployable because there are just no jobs for those rather obsolete qualifications. Why are we not taking advantage of technology, for instance? And so the quality, so what we are giving out, the relevance of our educational systems is also suspect. And similarly, of course, is the quality. When I've just come out of a session with UNESCO where we were told there that at least 60 to 70% of primary 6 children cannot read. So when a primary 6 child after 6 years in the educational system cannot read, what's going to happen to him or her? Where's she going to go? What's she going to do or he going to do at the end of the day? You can't go to secondary school. To do physics, you must be able to read the question at least. To do maths, to do English. So you find that this has been a very difficult. All these issues make the educational system unworkable as presently constituted. But for me as a practitioner in the sector, what makes it most unworkable is the governance and leadership model that we are following. Right now, constitutionally, primary education is in the hands of the local government, secondary in the hands of state government, tertiary in the hands of universities, of the federal government. But if you look at it very well, federal government does everything. We have secondary, like I said about the airport, so please pardon me for the announcement. So federal government does everything. State governments do everything, primary, secondary, tertiary. And local governments are just too poor. They are too underfunded. They have capacity issues. And it's not just money, it's also capacity when it comes to human capacity. So what you find is the governance model, the framework that we've developed is inadequate. I think as a society, we need to have these conversations because right now we are all dependent on UBEC, whereas UBEC cannot fund our primary education system in this country. And so these are some of the problems that we face. And so while we are talking, I'm glad to see that you are talking about quality. And when we talk about quality, what can beat the teacher? So I see that you are reaching out to teachers because an educational system is only as good as the teachers in the system. First of all, teaching is no longer a glamorous job. Nobody wants to be a teacher. And secondly, teachers are not well paid. And so many problems. So I'm very glad about this conference, and I've looked over the content. I won't talk too much, please don't worry. I've looked over the content and I've seen that You are addressing teachers. You are looking at teachers' issues from a granular perspective, from their classroom practice. And I think this is where we have failed with our teacher training institutes, where teachers know a lot about the history of education, but do not know enough about the practice of it. So I'm very glad with all the topics that you are doing. I mentioned somewhere along the way about the integration of technology, how important technology is, how we are not taking this seriously, how we can use technology in diverse ways to capture data. We don't have data. We're not collecting data to capture data on our students, on our teachers, to integrate into teaching and learning and so on. And so for me, yeah, someone just said practice supersedes history. That's what I was trying to say. We know the history, we know the theory, but the practice of it, we are not teaching our teachers sufficiently. So having said all this, and like I said, I don't really like to talk about problems. So the solutions are what I want you to keep going for. And one of the solutions would be to hold our leaders accountable, to ask them, what are you doing about ensuring that we have a proper governance framework in the country? Now, you will say, but I'm the practitioner. Yes, I will say from the conference I went to today, from Lagos State, we try to look at things from many perspectives. Of course, we are also constrained by the laws of the country. The curriculum, for example, is written by the federal government. But you do not allow such a thing to restrain me. What we have done in Lagos State is to look at that curriculum, and we've worked with the private sector, private schools, private individuals, professional organizations, NGOs, and so on. And we've come up with a scheme of work that captures 21st century skills. So we don't want our teachers writing 30-page lesson notes. We want them to go and teach and and we'll give them the framework for their classroom, the template for how their classroom should run. We'll give them the lesson notes. And into the lesson notes, we've integrated various skills, whether it's collaboration and teamwork. So the teacher is no longer seen as a sage on the stage, but is also facilitating a process where the children start to learn from themselves, by themselves, and become lifelong learners. So we've included things like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and we've also added into the template for the program. We've added in our schemes of work, video links, all sorts of links to web pages, to video links, to surveys, to various instruments, so that the teacher too enjoys the teaching and the students enjoy the class. We are launching this app on Tuesday. We are launching it. It's an app on which we have downloaded our schemes of work on which we work for 2 years. So I think that's why I say I go for solutions, and that's why I like your conference, because you are going for solutions. How can and so you'll ask me, does everybody have power? No, not everybody has power. But what the state is doing too is that we're trying to give as many students as possible their own devices. We launched that too on Tuesday. We've already given about 30,000, 35,000 to our graduating class. So now we are going to add another set. We just bought in devices again so that we can use in the classroom, and the teachers can use these as well. Again, when you talk about skills, you remember I talked about options. If you don't go to university, what option do you have? You should have a good option. Sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry once again. So like I said, one option. Since we do not have the capacity to train to send all our students to university, and they don't need to go. There are so many skills you can get today, micro-credentialing. So we've set up what we call comprehensive schools, where we are teaching a plethora of skills. Apart from ICT, we are also teaching building and construction. Lagos is a huge construction zone. We are teaching fashion and design. You know, we are Nigerians, we like to dress up. We are teaching media and drama and so on. So, and photography, Greek, and so that every child has something, has an option. I think that is what is most important. And we also want to do it in such a way that one door does not close another door. If you do this, if you want to go back to university, you can still do it. And if you do this and you want to become an entrepreneur, we have entrepreneurship training. They are setting up businesses and so on. We also have training on workplace ethics and all. So we included soft skills in it all, of course, the normal 21st century skills, like we like to call them, as well as financial literacy, negotiation, digital literacy. And we've given every student in the comprehensive school a lab, an iPad. So I think it's to go for solutions. And that's why I said I really appreciate why I'm here. And I hope to learn a lot. What we're trying to do, like I said, in Lagos State, while I'm not trying to canvass on Lagos State, and I assure you that it's not all yet uhuru, as they say, it's not perfect. There are many, many problems that we still face. We have a long journey ahead of us. But I think the most important thing is that decisions have been taken and we are moving in a different direction to ensure that every child who comes out has an option. I think that for me now is what is eating me up. How can every child have an option so that they have the option to do well? They are options that will give them a good enough lifestyle. And that's why I said, I love what you are doing here. And I thank you very much for inviting me. I apologize once again for where I am. I had to come for a conference in Benin. I'm just leaving. I had to leave the conference, come to the airport, check in, and I'm waiting for my flight. So I wish you happy deliberations. I will stay online as much as possible. And since there's a recording, there's a YouTube video that I'll watch. Once again, I thank the organizers. What you are doing is great. You are building skills even at a granular and at a top level. You are building across Africa, and therefore you are touching all of us because our future is at stake. Our collective future is at stake. Mine less so because I'm of an age where I don't have, but I have grandchildren. So it worries me a lot. What is their fate? What are they going to be able to do in the future? Are we preparing them for the reality of their lives? So I wish you well. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ma. Guys, can we celebrate our honorable commissioner? Let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate. Wow, thank you so much, Ma. That was amazing. You know, focusing on the solutions rather than the problem. Thank you so much, Ma.
Yes.
We celebrate you, we celebrate you, we celebrate you. Even though she's at the airport, but she still made out time to be here today, meaning that she has a heart for the education sector. And we are glad that you are taking steps in the right direction. You can see she was giving us numbers, you know, when she says holds the leaders accountable. So she's being accountable by telling us what she is doing in her own tenure to ensure that the education sector in Nigeria is being transformed. So that is exciting. New schemes of work, you know, giving gadgets and all that for education technology. Now that's amazing. And I'm glad that she's still here before she boards her flight. Before she boards her flight. I want to ask one question because the honorable cannot be here and, you know, I don't have the opportunity to ask one question. I feel like I'm the only one permitted to ask a question. If your hand is up, I'm sorry. You wait till the panelist session to ask your questions to the panelists, but I want to ask a question. I don't know if you can hear me, Ma. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, but
yes, Ma. It's amazing to meet you, by the way. Like, you are an inspiration. Thank you so much, Ma. So one question that I really want to ask is concerning, the first thing is, not one question, I'm going to put it two in one. First is concerning teacher training, and the second is concerning our curriculum in Lagos. I was watching a video that you were on I think TVC on an interview, and you were speaking on curriculum as well. So I want you to just share with us, because many times, many of our teachers complain that the curriculum currently doesn't speak to some of the things that are happening in Nigeria or some of the things that are happening around the world. So they feel like it's not preparing our students properly or well enough to be able to handle the global changes. So what is being done currently to revitalize or revamp the curriculum to be able to help our students become individuals who can handle the changes in the world? And also, number two, for the teachers that are here presently, how can we ensure that the teachers that are coming into the education sector are well qualified enough, how can we ensure that they are being, how can we streamline the qualified teachers to ensure that those are the kinds of teachers that we have in our classroom? I hope you're able to hear me.
I'll try and answer the question. It's quite an interesting question. Thank you for asking me.
Yes,
You see, again, the curriculum of the country is developed by a federal organization called NERDC. But what we have decided in Lagos is, they didn't tell us that that curriculum is cast in stone. We believe it's a bare minimum, and so we have to build on it. That's why I said we did our schemes of work. So in turning that, you look at a curriculum and you break it into terms, into weeks, into lessons and so on. So in breaking it down that way, we've actually enriched it considerably. And that's why I said, if you now look at our scheme of work, before it was just a listing of topics. Oh, we are doing the eye. So we say, what is the eye? Blah, 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 stuff like that. Now we have the objective. Why are we learning about the eye? We have objectives. So the teacher starts off with the objectives. And then we also have, of course, the way the lesson should go, and we give them supporting activities that they can do, so that, like I said, it integrates with 21st century skills. What if you discuss with your neighbor? What are the major problems you've seen with the way with eyesight in Nigeria? Even if they are little children, they have something to say. So you make the class engaging, you make it interesting. And assessment, we've also included things like formative assessment, so that throughout the class, you're assessing that students are learning, rather than giving them a test 6 weeks later. So of course, we still give the test, but we will ensure that during this session, all students are learning, because that's the objective, all students learning. We're not in the business of students failing. We don't want them to fail, we want everybody to pass. And we believe that it depends on the quality of teaching. So we've looked at that, and we did work with private sector, like I said, NGOs, private schools, development partners. A lot of people came to our aid in developing this app. Like I said, we are launching it on the 31st, which I think is Tuesday, where we put our whole scheme from early years to SS3, that is the year 12, we put it on that app, so that it's accessible to teachers. They can take it to class, can support their teaching. We don't want teachers wasting copious time writing lengthy notes. Let them understand this, then they can go and research. If you just have short, sharp, quick points, then you can go and research and learn more and go deeper, and then involve the students so that you go even deeper into the topic. I could go on and on about that. And then talking about teachers, we just have to stop demarketing that sector. Because what is happening now is teachers are the lowest scoring students are taken into education. It's not a vocation. Now, well, those who did not pass, they go into education. And you can't force anybody to go into education. If you look around the country, there can't be any private university that is doing education. Because parents do not want to pay 2.5 million naira school fees, and then the child comes out and says, I want to be a teacher. Because you've got demarketed the profession that is no longer a profession of choice. So I think what we've got to do is to face that profession and see how it can again become a profession of choice. And like I said, the way I do things is I know the problems. I can dissect them and talk about them at will, but I prefer to go for solutions. So what Lagos State has done actually is that we've set up a university of education. We don't want NC and so on anymore. We want all the teachers to have a bachelor's degree. So it's a very, very interesting curriculum that they are working with, and we are going to really churn out quality teachers. So we are doing that. There are one or two states that are something similar. Edo State too has set up an institute of education and on 3 campuses, and honestly, really teaching, present day modern skills of teaching, not the old lecture method. Giving teachers a plethora of skills. So we have that. Then, so I think that's the basic thing that we are having to do. Stop the demarketing, build up that profession. We are giving teachers, we have annual contests where we give the best teachers cars. Every year we give like 13, 14 cars. We give houses. And then teachers in Lagos State are paid higher than graduates into other ministries, because you have to pay them. There's a certain negotiation done like 10 years ago. So they get a little bit more than somebody comes in to say law or engineering. They get a little bit more. And they have hardship allowance and so.
Yes.
That's it. You just have to try and make the place look more interesting.
Interesting.
So that it becomes a career of choice for a young person. There are many things that we are trying, and states are trying to do, but I think we have to stop demarketing education. I'm proud to be a teacher and the daughter of 2 teachers. Fantastic.
Yes. Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much.
I hope you don't have any other question.
No.
Okay, so let me just well, I wouldn't know if anybody just have maybe just one question so that we can let you go, Ma. Just one question from any of the participants. I think it's been a wonderful session, and then I can see comments flowing here and there, appreciating you for the thought you just poured out. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. But we have just one question.
We really don't want to keep the honorable commissioner, except she wants to, just say, okay, just one question. And then, I mean, this is a rare privilege. It's very rare. So we want to, as much as possible, just be a sponge.
So I think there is no question.
There is no question.
Passed. So thank you so much. Okay. So can we just appreciate? Can we appreciate?
Yes. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you so much.
It's great to be here with you.
Yes, Ma. And you're in my state. You're in Benin, so you're in Edo State, right? So yes, enjoy. That's my state.
Well, I'm leaving now. I'm at the airport. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ma.
Okay,
yes, Ma.
Take care. All right.
Thank you very much, Ma.
All right. Quickly, sorry, I just want to acknowledge the presence of very, very special guests here. I want to acknowledge the presence of my dad. I see my dad in the building. Yes, my dad is here, Mr. David Iguma. I want to acknowledge the presence of one of our board members, Ogene Voke Guredas Voke. He has been such a huge support to the success of this summit. I want to say a big thank you. I see team members, I see my sister, I see Chinwe, I celebrate you. I see you, I see Obadiah, I see volunteers here. I see my special person, Mr. Okoyemi Ogunyomi. I see you, I celebrate you. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to hand over back to our moderators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Executive Director, Ms. Adora. Thank you so much. And I really want to appreciate once more our Honorable Commissioner of Education, Lagos State, Honorable Folashade Adefisayo, for that wonderful, wonderful insight she's given to us. I know that she has bombarded us with so much quality within just a few minutes. That was indeed a wonderful time. Okay, very quickly, we are going to be doing a very short networking before we move over to the next item for today's part of the summit. So this is what this is how we're going to be doing this. We are going to be going back to the lobby. I want to believe that we know how to go back to the lobby. So if you go back to your browser, you find yourself in the lobby, and on that lobby, you're going to see a list that drop down where you have speakers, you have space for people. If you click on the people, you see the different participants of today's summit there. So you can click on any one of the people you would like to network with. Just talk to someone, get contacts, get to know yourselves, and then we're going to be back within just 5 minutes. So just go back to the lobby. Okay, you were at the lobby before you joined the main room here. Just go back to the lobby, click on people. You see the names and the pictures of participants here. Just click on any name, connect with them, share contact, share ideas, just 5 minutes, and then we're going to be back so that we can continue with our business for today. So in just 5 minutes, let's do that.
Engage as much as you can, network as much as you can. That's why that's one of the reasons why we have these summits.
Yes, of course, we have people from all over Nigeria. We have even outside the country present here today. So you never can tell who you're going to be meeting or who you're going to be talking to. Maybe you're talking to the senior advisor to the president on education. You never can tell. So please, let's go network. You can even network with the executive director herself. Okay, she's a great person of value. So go ahead and let's do that. The next 5 minutes, we're going to be back.
All right, please let's also ensure to use the hashtag when we are sharing nuggets from the summit. The official hashtags for the summit are hashtag the TFLA Summit 2023 and also hashtag Education Matters. Please let's use the hashtag while we are sharing nuggets from today's sessions, and also take pictures from wherever it is you are joining from and share with us and tag us at the @freshlook_Africa. We would love to share in those memories with every single one of you.
All right, in the next 2 minutes, we're going to be back together, so we don't waste too much of our time. Just in 2 minutes, we're going to be back from our networking. Just make sure you network with as many people as possible. Like I said, you never could tell who you're going to be networking with. You never could tell who you're going to be exchanging contact with. And I know that relationship is going to go beyond even today and will help to create together education that matters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to believe that we are back here. I want to believe that you had a nice time connecting with. Okay, somebody is begging me here. Make me network. All right, all right. Okay, I have somebody telling me that he or she wants to network more. Yes, but we don't have all time. We don't have all day. We still need to come back and continue with the summit. We have two more major activities to get ourselves engaged with. Let us not forget that the theme for this summit is education that matters. Education that matters. So I'd like us to please, let's come back now. Let's come back now. I believe that we will go more contact. We've got a lot of contact. So please, let's come back and let's continue with our summit. Okay, if you're back, I want you to go to the chat and then tell me, just give me an emoji. Give me an emoji to show that you're back. Just go to the comment section or the chat section and then hit us up with your favorite emoji. Let's know that you're back from the lobby. Who is back from the lobby? Oh, Tian, you're back so fast. Okay. All right. Oyeti Rabada, you're back. Thank you. Oh, Sam Semako Falashade Bamidele is back from the lobby. Ayonimo Fair is back. Omotala is back from the lobby. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful emoji. Oh, Tessie Manu is also back from the lobby. Adria Tinikari is back from the lobby. Adibi Adikunli back from the lobby. Ifyema Uchendu back from the lobby. Wow, 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 wow. Let's come back. Let's come back home. Let's come back home. Let's come back home. Let's come back home. Okpeyemi is back from the lobby. Okay. All right, let's. Okay, Prince is back with his sunshade. That's good. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Oh, Mohammed Salim Awal is back. Welcome. 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 Who else is back? Let's come back. Let's come back. Let's come back. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. All right. I want to confirm if you could see me clearly. If you could see me clearly on the video. If you could see me clearly, I want to know if you can see me. So if you can see me, just type handsome. Just type handsome. Just type handsome. You can see me, just type handsome, okay? All right. If you're typing handsome, I'll know you see me, but you can see me. Oh, Adibi, thank you. Oh, handsome. Fresh. Wow, 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 wow. Fresh. Handsome. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, so handsome. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Okay. Mrs.
Now,
TK,
wow,
handsome.
teaching equality. Why all of these handsome? Me, God, y'all forgot about me. Hey.
Okay, if you can see, please just all right, just type beautiful. Type beautiful. You can see the beautiful lady on the screen. Just type beautiful. Just type beautiful. Okay, good, good, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Why are you so jealous? Why are you so jealous? Why? Why?
I thought this here
Okay,
look
so
like
let's move.
they're preaching equality, and it's just you that's getting all of this. Why?
You know,
Why?
this equality thing. Okay, no problem. As for the man, door. Somebody just called me door. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That was a wonderful time. Thank you for calling me handsome, and then the beautiful lady. Thank you for calling her beautiful also. So I want us to quickly, Tian of life. Tian of life. Nobody's calling me that. Oh.
Now who's the jealous one? Now you're the jealous one.
No, not jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. Okay. Miss Adora. It's good to see your face again.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I
Okay, so
believe
let's
we
see.
can move on with the program now.
Yes. So let's save time. Let's save time. I'll hand over to Tian now. Let's hear your beautiful voice.
All right. Thank you so much, Babatunde. Thank you so much. I believe that we've networked a bit. We'll still have more of these networking sessions as the summit progresses. So ensure that you keep those contacts. So even after the summit ends, you can still keep in touch. All right, we are moving the program along, and it's time for us to listen to our next keynote speaker. Now, this person is an award-winning teacher and educator. You'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. All right, let's enjoy this.
In a world where teaching as a profession has lost its social flavor, Olasukomi Okpeifa stands out with his passion for quality education through result-oriented pedagogies. Olasukomi teaches with the FCT Secondary Education Board at Government Day Secondary School, Karu, Abuja. A multiple award-winning teacher, he is known for using rap songs, dance steps, games, and ICT integration to foster learning, and these have been producing amazing results, evident in his students' performance in SSCEs and academic competitions. Olasukomi Okpeifa is a record-breaking educator with achievements that are motivating other teachers to go above and beyond. He became the National Champion 2018 Multina Teacher of the Year, thereby making him the first for the FCT and the northern part of Nigeria as a whole to ever win the award. As a result, his school was awarded a block of 6 classrooms with 8 modern toilets and a well-stocked library. This has expanded the enrollment capacity of the school, promoted quality education, and enhanced health and well-being of the students. In 2020, he made the FCT and Nigeria proud by being the first teacher in Nigeria and in the whole of West Africa to emerge as one of the top 10 teachers in the Global Teacher Prize organized by Varkey Foundation, United Kingdom. He is the first teacher to ever get his name on Why Naija Person of the Year, and he won the 2020 edition by popular votes among international professionals, leaders, and famous entertainers. In 2021, he won the BIC Crystal Pen Award as the first teacher in Nigeria and West African region to ever win the award. Among his additional awards and recognitions are winner IDEE Teacher Prize 2018, Teach SDGs Ambassador 2019, Best English Language Teacher, Government Day Secondary School, Karu, 2018-2019, Top 10 Finalist Inspirational Educator Award 2019, Microsoft Innovative Educator Fellow 2020-2022, Microsoft Innovative Educator Master Trainer 2020-2022, FCT Staff of the Year 2020, and Ogun State Academic Laureate 2021. With the goal of providing quality education at heart, he equips a classroom in Nigeria with digital gadgets yearly so teachers and students will have access to standard learning environment in the 21st century. He started this initiative in 2021 when he equipped a classroom in his school in the FCT with an interactive board, projector, computers, alternative power supply, and internet. He is also committed to reducing illiteracy in his community. To achieve this, he started a literacy program, Phenomenon Literacy Project, where students' reading abilities are diagnosed and special trainings are organized with literacy experts. He funds this project with a month's salary every term. Olasukomi is the convener of TeacherX Project, an online collaborative space for teachers to connect, communicate, collaborate, and be celebrated. He is an author, public speaker, an international teacher trainer, and mentor to so many teachers. He strongly believes that teachers should teach students the way they learn, and education should be used to reduce inequality.
The Commissioner for Education. The Commission.
All right. That was, I told you that you'd see why I was excited to bring this next speaker up. That was Mr. Olasukomi Okpeifa. Unfortunately, he could not be with us here live, but he has sent us a video ahead, for his speech. So let's sit back and listen to all that he has for us.
The Commissioner for Education, Lagos State, Mrs. Adefisayo Folashade, other invited guest speaker, panelist, the moderator, of course, the organizer of the program, my colleagues present online here, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olasukomi Okwaifa, as you have all known, and I believe an introduction of me must have been done. So I will quickly move on now to what I have on my plate, my responsibility here. Now, interestingly, when you invite a teacher to be a keynote speaker, you may turn the podium to a classroom. So don't be surprised that in the process of giving my speech, in the process of reading my speech at the same time, I may delve into some aspects of teaching. I mean, it's possible. I won't be in control of that one if I feel like asking you a question or doing it in a pedagogical way. All right, the responsibility in front of me is is both tasking at the same time simple. We are looking at education that matters. So join me as I deliver this. Many years ago, as an undergraduate, I woke up in the middle of the night and I found these thoughts on my mind. Now, the thought of my future, of course. Behind me, I heard a voice saying, "Do not go the traditional way." Yes, I was thinking that, yes, I'm supposed to be a teacher. I just want to be a teacher. And I was thinking, how should I do this? And that came. In everything you are going to do, just be sure you don't go the traditional way. Now, when I saw the theme of this summit, I immediately remembered this incident. And interestingly, I got better clarity about what the voice said. Now, what the voice said could just be rephrased in 4 words. The voice must have said in another parlance, in another expression, that offer education that matters. Now, interestingly, that was futuristic for me then, and I'm glad to announce today that the future that I was encouraged about then is here. The future has come, and the future is now. I love the way the future that we struggled to welcome grabbed us suddenly. We got plunged into the new era at the end of a century, of course 2020, a historical year for that matter. Everything in the world felt the impact of this great year. And here we arrived at the shore of a new world, a new era, the post-COVID era. We needed to accept the change, but the change grabbed us. Every sector is now on the edge of remaining relevant. Education as an industry, you'll agree with me, is not left out. Rather, we are at the center of it all. So to remain relevant, we need to consider the semantics of this theme, not as a cliche, but as a call to action. In this speech, I would like to share what education that matters means to me. And I hope at the end of this voyage together, we will be encouraged to keep adding more fuel to our passion, change our course to be more relevant, or wake up to join the army of change makers in the industry. Education that matters to me first goes in the line of the general theme of 2023 International Day of Education: to invest in people, prioritize education. Education must be practically seen as an investment. Where we are today as a society is as a result of the investments we made in education yesteryears. Education that matters is the education that sows the seed of relevant curriculum, conducive environment, motivated teachers. It produces out-of-the-box thinkers, and above all, it has smart goals towards specific achievement. Education is not education if it's not seen as an investment in the people. Similarly, education that matters is a goal-oriented education. How quick did we forget what we learned in school? It was loud and even deafening back in school then that education is meant to meet the need of the society. Unfortunately, most African countries if not all, cannot be said to have SMART goals. I wonder if there is anything called national goals and how we drive our education towards this. Excuse me, I am not talking about free and egalitarian society or all the cliché of ambiguity that we see in our national books. Personally, I get confused as a teacher when I enter the classroom and I cannot really tell the student the essence of what I am teaching. Talk about the essence-based as related to our country, or what type of Nigerian I am trying to build in them. Let me put flesh to what I'm talking about. Imagine as a country we have a 10 to 15 year goal to make this country the best entertaining country in the world. Of course we are. You can check TikTok and everything we do with Nollywood and our film industry and our music industry anyway. Imagine we have that goal and we want to achieve that as a country. All we just need to do is to make sure that our physics teacher is teaching the physics of sounds and waves and everything in the direction of what will make us a great entertaining country. The accounting, commerce, and mention them are teaching our students to become sound business people in the aspect of entertainment. You can talk about the humanities students. They are carrying out these things practically. You can imagine what Nigeria will turn to in the next 15 years. How we are going to produce better than Burna Boy, better than Wizkid, and the type of investment we are going to attract to our country in the film and movie industry. May I say, education that matters fulfills the need of society, and it is high time we drew our goals and make it need-based. In the same vein, education that matters is discovery-based. You will agree with me that Nigerians, nay Africans, are highly talented in sciences and in arts. Can we just focus on nurturing the talent in our classrooms? It is painful that many would study A in the university and end up becoming D, because what they study is not the same thing as their talent. We have examples in FAST. Of course, you know FAST, the bad guy or the bad boy. He will have wasted his life putting on gowns as a lawyer. You know the Funke Akindele of this world. I believe she will have been frustrated shouting "My Lord," even as she discovered herself. How much transformation would we have impacted into people like Portable, Ashake, if we have nurtured them positively in our classrooms? The best investment we can make is to make this young generation discover who they are and to nurture their talent right from the classroom in the right direction. An example came to my mind now. The girl, Success, you remember her, that was flogged out of the classroom, thanks to Mark Angel, that is maximizing her gift now. Education that matters is an investment in the people, and no better investment than helping a man to discover his true self.
Education that matters speaks the language of the people. It has been said that technology is the language of the 21st century. Hey, it is important we know that being tech savvy as a teacher is more than Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, even Google. It's a dawn of a new day. It is AI o'clock. Your tech skill is now judged based on how best you can use AI and simulations to offer education that matters. True, artificial intelligence may not replace teachers, but teachers that use artificial intelligence will surely replace those who do not. The workplace is changing. How are you preparing your students for this?
I hope you got the message. If you don't get it, forget about it. May I also define education that matters as the education that is fun-based. I hope you know that it is not worth learning if it is not fun. It has been proven scientifically that literal learning goes in one path of the brain to another, just on a symmetry line. However, when you add fun, like gamification, storytelling, music, and the likes, to learning, it connects all the parts of the brain and makes it a holistic participatory activity. You can imagine the cerebrum connecting with hippocampus to cerebellum to the medulla oblongata, to the olfactory lobe, and all these parts will also bear witness anytime there is need to recall the knowledge. Last year, I remember that there was an exhibition in Lagos State on edutainment. I mean, that is education that matters. Edutainment as a way of giving you personalized learning. To offer education that matters, you must move from being an educator to being an edutainer. Education that matters is the type of education that motivates its teachers. It is time diligent teachers, critical thinking ones, creative ones at the same time, got their rewards from our classroom. Show me a society that celebrates its teachers. Then I will show you a society that is offering education that matters. History will never forget Lagos State for encouraging teachers every year. Ogun State is also not left out. Well, kudos to federal government of Nigeria and even Ghana. Several private organizations too, like Nigerian Breweries, are doing the same thing. Talk about the Global Teacher Prize too, they are there. We need more. Talk about our salary, we need to increase this. Africa, we need to encourage our teachers so that we can attract best brains into our classrooms. In conclusion, if education that matters is an investment in the people, then who is responsible? Administrators and policymakers need to go back to the drawing board. They need to give us national goals, or at best regional goals, and design our curriculum towards these goals. Teachers also need to self-equip themselves and accept that everything rises and falls on the quality of teachers we have in our country. Parents also need not to abdicate their responsibilities. They need to hold policymakers and teachers alike accountable to their responsibilities. May I quickly at this point, as I round off, appreciate the initiator of this program, Ms. Adora Igunma. Thank you for standing out all the time. Thank you for remaining an advocate of quality education. Your tireless effort is recognized and is celebrated and appreciated. And to all my colleagues in the house, thank you for being teachers. You are highly celebrated. Happy International Day of Education. Thank you.
Wow. That was incredible. That
Yes,
was
wow.
so incredible. Wow.
Let's celebrate our second keynote speaker of the evening, Mr. Olusukomi Okpeifa. A round of applause.
Can we bombard the chat box? Can we bombard the chat
Yes.
box?
Yes.
Let's bombard the chat box. Come on, we can do it. Let's bombard the chat box.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I was expecting nothing less than value.
Yes.
Expecting nothing less than value.
When you hear infusing technology with education, you can't really grasp the essence of it until you hear someone like Mr. Olusukomi break it down. And it is mind-blowing of how so much that you can do with technology it cuts across board, and education is not left out. So if you are an educator here and you are not optimizing technology, you heard what he said. I hope you get the message now. Please get the message and jump on that train. Ensure that you use it, because if you don't, you know what we have.
You forget about it. Tia, he mentioned something. He said it is now AI o'clock. So I happened to ask one of my colleagues just this week, and I asked him, I said, have you heard of Chat GBT, or what's it called now?
Yes.
Chat GTP or something. I keep mixing that. And my colleague was like, sorry, what's that? I was like, you don't know? I said, that's an assignment. So a lot is happening now. A lot is happening in the technology space, in the AI space, and I think every teacher needs to get themselves abreast with those information, or else you're just going to be left behind. Just like Mr. Okpeifa said, he said, inculcating technology into your teaching goes beyond just PowerPoint, MS Word, and all those small, Chat GPT. It's GPT. Thank you very much. It goes beyond all what we think that we know. Technology is evolving, and then we need to evolve. And then when he talked about not just being an educator, but we need to advance and then become edutainers. Classes are getting boring right now. Students are losing interest. How can we revive that? How can we build them to now begin to create jobs that will be needed in the future? Just like you said, and I mentioned that education is supposed to be need-based, discovery-based, and fun-based. If you've not taken anything away, I think you should go with that.
Yes.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful.
Absolutely. I can tell you for free that the subjects I remember in school till dates in my secondary school are the ones that used infused storytelling, because there was no more technology going back then, at least in this part of the world. But some of them used storytelling to ensure that they drive home the message of what it is that they were trying to say. So when I get to the examination hall and I'm stuck, I just remember the story and voila, everything comes back. So that's the power of storytelling. That's the power of technology. That's the power of thinking outside the box to ensure that your students are on the same page. A huge shout out once again to Mr. Olusukomi Okwefa for that very, very powerful message. All right, so it's time to
Let me just put it together once more. Let's appreciate him in the chat section. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Okay, we're going to be moving on now. We're going to be having a panel discussion, which will be handled by the executive director herself. And I'm talking about Ms. Adora Iguma. Ms. Adora Iguma, are you ready for this?
I am.
What?
Okay.
I am ready. So let's quickly introductions and then we move quickly. But I am ready.
Sorry, I'm not sure I heard you clearly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, I said that I am ready, but we can go into their introductions and then we move.
Oh, okay. All right, so we have a list of value-packed personalities who will be joining our executive director, Ms. Adora, at the panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've seen the flyers, and then some of you have been following these people and you know the stuff they are made of. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to one of our panelists, Kemi Ogunsoya. She is a learning and development professional. Ms. Adora, do we have our video profile on?
Yes.
Okay, so Kemi Ogunsoya.
All right.
Kemi Ogunsoya is an award-winning educator with over 9 years of teaching experience. In her current role, she serves primarily as a literacy educator working with key Stage 2 students. She is also a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert who has her first degree in English education and her master's degree in educational administration. She is the convener of the Teachers Discuss series, a platform birthed to equip teachers with relevant skills. Kemi is both a columnist and an editor who has her articles published in leading newspapers and magazines. She has also facilitated numerous training and development sessions for educational institutions within and outside Nigeria. She was nominated in March 2021 as a top 100 career women in Nigeria and has been a recipient of several other notable recognitions.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That was Kemi Ogunsoya, a learning and development professional. You're welcome. Next, we have Bright. Mr. Bright is a founder of EduSo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to our midst, Mr. Bright Kemasode. I want to believe I got that correctly. Okay, so let's go through Mr. Bright's profile.
Mr. Kemasode Ebiaswode Bright is a 21st century problem solver, a team coach, an educator, and a creative thinker. He is passionate about working with a team of individuals to bring about social change and positively transform the lives of those around him. Mr. Kemaswede Bright is an alumnus of the 2020-2021 SIP cohort. He is also an alumnus of Teach for Nigeria. He focuses on building the academic and non-academic outcomes of pupils in Nigeria's undeserved schools in low-income communities. He is among the outstanding educators and educational solutions honored and awarded for their innovation, uniqueness, and fostering systemic changes at the IIES on 27th March 2022 in Batuta Gates, Dubai, organized by Into Future in collaboration with KITES. For the past years as a Teach for Nigeria Fellow, an alumni, and currently a Leadership Development Manager, he has successfully built his leadership skills to drive long-term systemic changes in the educational sector in Nigeria and globally. Mr. Bright Kemaswede has successfully trained over 5,000 educators on the use of 21st century pedagogies through his partnership with diverse organizations globally, such as WAAW, which is working to advance African Women in STEM Foundation, and has completed over 25 Level Up Village Global Collaboration courses with schools from the United States of America, Mexico, and Australia, where he has directly impacted over 1,000 learners utilizing STEM tools to prepare them for the future of work. He is a beacon of hope to the hopeless and a light to the blind-minded. Mr. Bright has made a tremendous impact and meaningful global changes in education. He has won numerous awards, among which are the most outstanding Be the Change Project Award 2020 graduating class, organized by Teach for Nigeria and the Teach for All network out of 55 projects initiated across Ogun, Lagos, and Kaduna states. He was the only African in the 2019 Empatico Teachers Appreciation Week to show gratitude for the work teachers do globally out of 34 countries in participation in the Empatico Global Classroom Challenge. He is also the third prize winner of the 2019 Youth in Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition under the Best Idea category for the General Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition organized by Stiftung Entrepreneurship Berlin, Germany, in collaboration with the GOI Peace Foundation and UNESCO Global Action Program on Education for Sustainable Development. Earlier this year, Mr. Bright was among the eminent education leaders and changemakers to receive this year's prestigious award for demonstrating excellence and the highest standards of ethical conduct, integrity, and civic and social responsibility by raising the bar of innovation and entrepreneurial education for kids and youth at their school, institute, city, and the society at the International Innovative Education Summit, IIES, held in Dubai. Mr. Kemaswede Bright has spoken on the platform of different global organizations, some of which are SWOT Talks, British Council, Teach for Nigeria, and Teach for All, to mention a few. He is ISTE certified as a master teacher at WAAW Foundation and Level Up Village, an online global class platform, where he practically prepares the next generation of global citizens through global STEAM enrichment courses that promote design, thinking, and one-to-one collaboration between students in Nigeria and students in other parts of the world. He is the founder of EduSort, an organization aimed at bridging the literacy gap and building individuals with set skills for the 21st century work environment, thus leading the movement towards educational equity and excellence and equipping the next generation leaders through his educational STEM training and services.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Bright. Also, to join our panel, we have another teaching professional. Please join me to welcome Faith Okedoyin.
Faith Okedoyin is a cutting-edge teaching professional, teacher trainer, and storyteller. With over 8 years of experience, she has worked in a number of top-tier international schools across Nigeria. She leads the teacher training and early childhood development team at Slum to School Africa, where she works closely with a team of passionate educators to design and develop training schedules for teachers in undeserved communities. With a heralding voice of building a reflective teacher practice, she has trained over 500 teachers across Africa on classroom management, effective lesson planning and delivery, and the 21st century pedagogical model. A storyteller and podcaster, she shares teacher stories across Africa on her Instagram page and podcast under the brand called Teacher Acts.
Thank you very much. Can we just celebrate them in the chat box? Let's welcome them in the chat box. Let's welcome them. Let's welcome them. Kemi Ogunsoya, though not present, Mr. Bright, and also Ms. Faith. And on this note, I'm going to be handing over to the Executive Director, the Mama Fresh herself. Please join me also to welcome Ms. Adora Iguma.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
Mama Fresh.
Yeah, Mama Fresh, Mama Fresh. It just hit me now, actually, that she's Mama Fresh. I should have called her that.
Now. Okay, I feel you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to have each of you here. Right, Faith and Kemi, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. I think you can put on the video now. Yes. So let me spotlight you. And let me spotlight you. And let me remove Mr. Babatunde from there. All right, nice to see you. I think Kemi is having issues with her network. But we'll just go on and then she'll join us as time goes on. Okay, but I'm excited to have you here. We have young people here. We have people that are doing excellently well in their fields, in the education industry. I have my sister Faith, who is also a faculty member in TSTA. So TSTA students, especially cohort 1, you were the ones that enjoyed her the most. And we have Mr. Bright as well. Yes. So if you have questions for them, you can drop it in the Q&A box and then we'll take your questions from there. Okay. So we have titled the name of this panel discussion, A Collective Movement Towards Transforming Education, a collective movement towards transforming education. Now, my first question will go to Faith. My first question will go to Faith. I want to do ladies first, okay?
Ladies first.
Yes. So my first question goes to Faith. And so we're going to look at teacher training, teacher education, and all that. So the data, like from data by the UNESCO, we see that we need about 69 million teachers by 2030 to achieve the education goals, right? And, you know, I'm just wondering, how is that possible? So because I have a YouTube channel, I've had that conversation before. And my question is, how is that possible? Because from data as well, from the NEA, we see that about 55% of teachers are actually thinking of leaving. Some of them have left. Some of them have said they don't enjoy their jobs or this profession anymore. They don't find it, you know, fulfilling anymore. And so they want to go. Right. So my issue is that this same problem that we're facing in Africa is everywhere, because I'm here in Canada and I'm like, do I really want to go back into the classroom? You know, when they've told you that there's fire on the mountain, then you now say, okay, oh, because of passion, let me still go there. Let me see if I can point the fire. I don't know if I'm the sent one to do that. I don't know if I want to put myself in that position, because teachers here are complaining. There's a shortage, like a very large shortage of teachers here in Canada. Like every province is looking for teachers, right? But in my mind, I'm like, do I really want to go there? Teachers are leaving. Why do I want to go? There has to be a reason. So I want us to just have this conversation. Like, what do you think are the issues that teachers are facing, or why do you think this is happening, that we are seeing a large chunk of teachers leaving the profession, and then we are seeing that we need more teachers? But like, I want to talk about the issues, and like, you know, the Honorable said, we need to also talk about the solutions as well. So let us look at the solutions from a collective angle, like from an aerial view, looking at the different stakeholders we have in the education industry. Over to you, Faith.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Hadora. This is a very important topic to discuss, because this problem that we are having is a very urgent one that we need to seek solution to. And the truth is, teaching is a very emotional job. It is highly emotional. It is a job that you cannot disassociate your emotion from. So with the increased, you know, dropping out of teachers, with teachers leaving and everything, it's actually increasing workload for other teachers too. So you see, and with the 21st century, it's like how it used to be. It's like teaching is not how it used to be again. It's like something changed. It was like there was a shift, you know, the perseverance that, you know, the old teachers had, let's say that the millennials had, you know, I think we were millennials, right? The perseverance of teachers then, it's so it's like there's been a gradual shift, like people are really getting tired, you know, of how teaching, the teaching space, the teaching atmosphere is. And what went wrong? I would think it's the workload, right? Aside the fact that teaching is a very emotional job, we have the workload, we have the lesson notes to write, the lesson plans, we have the behavior of students, right? You know, this generation, the children we are raising, this generation, they are a lot different from how millennials were raised. We're a lot more mild. We were mild, we were well behaved, you know, we followed rules and everything. But the children now, I would call them the disruptors, you know, they disrupt things. So I would say that, and then I would also say that the support. One thing that teachers need would also be a very close community, a support system where they get to share problems, they get to share you know, what is going on in their class, so they can have someone that can empathize with them, like, oh, I do understand what is going on with you, you know, I know how this is what is going on that works for my class, this can also work for you. And you would agree with me that finding someone to share your thoughts with, sometimes it kind of lifts your mood. However, I don't think that is not as strong, you know, presently, and there is a need for us to actually go back there. And then with everything, we now have the low pay. Oh my God, the low pay. And so we know what Nigeria is saying right now, right? And we have the private schools, we have the public schools, and we have the international schools. So there are different kinds of schools everywhere. So we also have the low pay, and it's making teachers. Hello, am I breaking?
We can hear you. No, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so we have the low pay, and something has to be done, and someone has to break at one point in time, you know. And then with everything going on, we have more lucrative career paths out there, and teachers are like, am I really here? Am I really supposed to be here? Is this my call? Am I called to poverty? You know, I'm talking, you know, from their own point of view. When you see everything going on, you know, the high emotions, students not behaving themselves, lack of community to support, the low pay not commensurating the work that is being put in, and then the poor working conditions. But I'm also looking into the public school sector here, the working condition, and everybody is just, as a teacher, you have different line managers, micromanagers, where you have to report to. This person is coming with their own deadline, that person is coming with their own deadline, and it's as if everything is just going, and there is no end in sight, right? Let me now top it up. Then you cannot see a clear career path. It's just as if you're just going to be a teacher forever. Where am I supposed to go from there? Am I supposed to be head of department? And in the corporate world, you would agree that they have what they've gone for. They have a particular promotion. Oh, I'm supposed, in the next 2 years, I'm supposed to be promoted here, and you can't just see that in the school, and you're like, okay, what is in it for me? I am giving my all, I'm giving my time, I'm giving my energy, I'm giving my emotion, I'm giving my resources, because I know teachers, out of the low pay, the low pay they're getting, they still take out of it and beautify their classroom, buy suites, as reinforcement for students. And you see all these things going on, and someone has to give at a particular point in time, right? So that's what's going on.
Yes, I can totally relate to that workload, because I've had this. I'm just saying that many times people expect so much from teachers, but teachers are given so little to work with. It is so, it's like you want us to transform maybe 1,000 children, but yet you are giving us 10,000 naira to work with, that kind of thing, So there's just a whole lot of pressure, and then there's so much someone can take. And that was why at the beginning I mentioned mental health, because some people, let me not even talk about that one. That's it. Let me leave it for you to talk about it. But many times that workload, the pressure, right, that teachers have to face. Some people say, yeah, teacher, I want to teach, because people leave work at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. You are the ones that close early. I'm like, hey, you don't know what's going on.
You don't know.
You don't know. 2, 3 o'clock, that's just the beginning of our day now. That's when we have time to do what you actually need to do in the classroom, right? So I'm going to throw it to Bright as well. You have been, you are an alumni of Teach for Nigeria. So you've gone into the food, like you've gone into the rural areas, and those people have my heart, excuse me, those people have my heart a lot. And even last year we had the discussion, we had to bring someone all the way from the north to tell us what is going on there. Right. So I want you to tell me, how is it like there? Like, what issues do you think the teachers there are facing, especially teachers that are in low income communities?
So thank you very much, Adora, right? And thank you, Faith, for sharing those insights. If you're talking about low income community, it just feels like there is no hope for them. Truth be told, if we would have this conversation. And that's because, I experienced it firsthand when I had to pass through the Teach for Nigerian Fellowship, having to work with them and going the extra miles with those kids. So first of all, for the educators, right? They don't have any skill whatsoever. In fact, I'll just share a bit of how I started EduSort. I had a class teacher that's working directly with the state government. She had this promotional exam. The government had just said, see, we're moving to CBT. And so let's get ready, and everybody is on their toes trying to see how they can learn how to put on a laptop. It was that bad. And she met me in school, was like, Mr. Bright, so my CBT exam is next week, Monday, and I need to do it. So you can teach me how to put on this laptop you have been bringing to class. I was like, I don't understand. Put on laptop. How does that add up? And for me, it looks like if she doesn't know how to put on a laptop, unfortunately, she did fail that exam anyway. I'm wondering what would happen to those kids in that class and every other community where we have those educators. Faith has already said it. The pay is nothing to write them about. They need to survive. So I don't think if I was in their shoes as well, I'll be thinking of professional development for myself. It's just get into that classroom, do my job, and get the small stipends or salary I'm getting from the government. And again, it just continues in that circle. So it's really bad. And if you're to compare what happens in the low-income community to even what we have in Lagos or maybe Abuja or maybe Port Harcourt, where we have those international schools, even with the struggling we still have across board in our educational system, there's really nothing for the kids in those communities. And so myself and a good number of other Nigerians that decide to sign up for the fellowship. I mean, we can do as much as we can, but that's not really enough, right? There's a need for us, and that's why we are here again today. There's really a need for us to all work collectively to ensure that educators are respected. It's the workload. I was having, so because I have 3 daughters, and I was having a conversation. She's one of the eldest, is fully involved in my educational movement. And so she was having a conversation with me, like, so Daddy, I'm thinking it would be good to be a teacher. And in my head, I was like, you're not thinking well. I don't try that. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that out, but for me, I felt like, yes, I was making impact. The kid was super happy with the fact that I was doing great work. I was helping kids in the classroom. But the truth is, I mean, I still can't afford basic things that she needs sometimes, right? So I'm wondering why my daughter will be that. So it's something that it's a call to action for everybody. It's not just something like the Commissioner of Education said. It's not just something that we think is just for the commissioners alone, or maybe for those in government alone. There has to be a total restructuring. If not, I mean, you won't have teachers anywhere. Unfortunately for us, the United Kingdom has opened their doors, and just watch what would happen. We keep complaining of brain drain, but it's not a brain drain problem. People need systems that work, right?
Yeah.
Even if your pay is not too good, I want to be sure that I'm in a place where systems work. This is what I'm sure I will get from what I'm putting into it. And so because they are not sure, of course, there's going to be a lot of teachers moving abroad. So there has to be a lot of work done to see how we can meet up with that target. Truth be told.
Wow. Yes. Oh, wow. Yes. Like starting from the part of teachers in rural areas, and some of them don't even know, like they're just there to teach. Some of them, they have really good hearts. They're like, I just want the little I can do, right? And then you begin to think of you yourself that have gone to school, you've been trained, and then, you're still being paid way beneath the effort you're putting into the work. And for me, I feel like that's why some teachers here don't want to leave, because they know that their salary is short, right? What they are protesting for is the fact that, there's workload, there's really high workload. The children of these days are very, very funny. And also they want increase in pay. I mean, when I landed here, I met it, they were already protesting when I landed here, they wanted increase in pay. But the truth is, you are sure that you are going to get your pay. You are sure of your health benefits. You are sure that you can get an educational leave. You are sure that you can get a paid leave. You are sure that you can go on sick days and still get paid. Do you understand? So there are these structures that surround you as teachers, and then you're like, okay, it's not as bad, right? Apart from the work that comes with it, So, but in our own context, there is no structure. You see some teachers, 6 months, they've not been paid, they still have to go to the classroom. And some of them are like, why can't I just go and sell wigs, right?
Yeah.
And bag and shoe and be making money? And some of them even bring it to work. I'm like, I sell bag, shoe, I sell chin-chin, people should come and buy. It's not their fault, because they have to make ends meet, right? The same thing even with some of the students as well. Some of the students have to sell things so that they can actually fend for themselves. But it's a whole lot to unpack, right? And my mentor, DDK, she calls it a wicked problem, because you're looking at one problem and then you open that problem and then you see another problem, and you open that problem, and so it's not just one thing. We can't just say the problem of education is one thing, right? It's layered, and that's why it's a wicked problem. And that's why, as much as possible, with it being a collective movement, you take your own part, right? Some people take teacher training, some people are sending kids to school, some people are, building schools and revamping schools, some people are building school libraries and all that. Some people, like Mr. Lasikomi, is going ahead winning awards, and then they are coming to his school to build new blocks of classrooms in honor of his award and all of those things. So it's a whole lot to unpack. All right. Now, the next question is, now in this time, right, many teachers, like I said, are leaving, right? And there are some teachers, like you said, the UK has opened its borders. And I feel like Canada is also going to open her borders very soon to educators, because they need some. And they are going to make the process quite easy for people to come in. So how do we, because the truth is it's not like we don't want the good life, but the truth is Africa needs help, as much help as possible. So that's why even though I'm here, like most of the things that consume my mind and my time has to do with Nigeria or Africa. When I'm in class and they are giving examples of their own Canada, I'm giving examples of my own in Nigeria. Do you understand? My heart is here, yeah. Right? And as much as possible, whatever I have to do, I do it to ensure that we see the change that we desire. Now, how can teachers in this time say, okay, this is what is happening. Teachers are leaving. We are not getting paid. The workload is a lot. How can teachers begin to navigate these issues? What can they begin to do to ensure that, okay, what can we or as stakeholders begin to do to ensure that teachers, we still have, teachers are retained and then we have more teachers coming to the classroom? I know you've mentioned some things, right? Restructuring, you've mentioned that, the systems have to be sorted and all that, pay. But what other things can we begin to do as teachers? Because some teachers are scared. Some teachers really don't want to leave, right? But because they have to fend for their families, so they're like, it's not worth it. So how can teachers navigate this whole issue? Let me start with Bright this time.
Okay. All right. So there are a couple of things teachers can do through it.
Oops, network.
So, irrespective of whether the border is back home, first of all, that really do have hope in their country and the work that they do. Like Faith said, this is something that has your emotions at play. Like you find it difficult separating it, right? And that's why I'm still in the educational space. In fact, and one of the things I've seen over time is when I go into the classroom for observations, right, with teachers I currently work with, and I'm meeting someone that's a teacher training and that's doing a teaching practice and all of that, I'm saying, hello, so it's good to see you. When are you joining us in Teach for Nigeria? The person is saying, I'm not teaching, no. And I'm like, well, it doesn't add up, right? Why wouldn't you want to teach? So what are you doing in that faculty? The truth is, let's start first of all by making the profession look what it really should look like. You can get into a teacher's college with the lowest of wire grades and the poorest of JAM scores. We need to make it competitive. We need to make it look like it's one of the best fields you should be. That's what professionalism is, not necessarily saying, let's start our teachers registration councils and we're all paying a particular fee every month and all of that. That's just like what should be, right? But why are doctors respected? Because of the way their systems and structures are. So I think that we need to look into this. So we're having the best brains come into education. Now, what does that do for us? When we have the best brains come into the educational space, irrespective of the challenges that they face in the classroom, they begin to look out for ways they could solve those problems. So you're a teacher, you're in a classroom, you're meeting XYZ problems. Instead of waiting for the government or instead of waiting for, whoever that is in power that you feel should do some of these things, right? You're taking ownership of the ones that are within your sphere of influence to make the necessary change. And so imagine if we had every teacher doing just this in their classroom. We're not waiting for our classrooms to be painted by the government. And we are saying, oh, it's just maybe 1,000, 5,000 I can take off my salary, and we're all painting our classrooms, right? I agree with you. Yes, the pay is not good, but I'm just saying when you get someone that has the entrepreneurial mindset as an educator, they bring in the business mind into it. They bring in solutions. So you're getting a solution, and the next question is, how can I convert this into, sorry, you're getting a problem, and the next question is, how can I convert this into a solution, right? So you see people like Olasukami, they want to stay in the educational space. You see people like me who want to stay in the educational space. I don't have any regrets that I left the medical faculty up until now. And it's because I feel that what I would have done as a doctor is what I can still do as a teacher, right? So we need guys and ladies who are like the brightest minds, right? That is one of the things we can do. if you get the brightest minds into the educational faculty, trust me, a lot of things will change. We don't need to wait for government, like I said. I mean, we kind of overflog this, but there's a need for us to start, continuous professional developments for our teachers, invest in them, get them to understand the needs to transform from where they currently are to where they should be. I'm picturing 10 years from now, and I'm seeing that there will be no blocks in our classroom anymore. And simply because there's a rise in insecurity. So why would people, parents want to send their kids to the 4 walls of a school that they can be kidnapped from, right? So we're going to have teachers that will be working from home, even if COVID has given us a bit of it. How are teachers preparing for that? And that's what the future of work looks like. And there's a lot of money you can get from that. I have a couple of friends that work in Lagos as teachers, and they're like probably working from home, right? Doing the old homeschooling stuff, and they are making a lot of money from it. So instead of saying, oh, I'm not well paid, the structures are not good, how are we also coming up with solutions to solve these different problems that we are faced with? And you would agree with me that whenever there are problems and you're converting those problems to solutions, of course, you're already a millionaire. So the issue of your salary is no longer a problem, because by solving certain problems in the educational sector, you're already making money for yourself, right? There's this principal I met some years ago at Abuja that he said that because of him, right, he now has family members that are reaching out to him to say, oh, I want to do something in education. He's well paid. He's looking like what a definition of a true teacher should be. And so everybody is seeing a reason to want to be in that path, right? So we also need diverse support from non-for-profit organizations, from the government stakeholders, from our parents. There's a need for this conference also to even move from an online space to a physical space where we are bringing in different individuals and we are creating our solutions ourselves. The UK curriculum is not going to help us, right? Finland, I've read about it. Those things are great, but those curriculums were designed to solve their problems. So we need to look inwards, design what would solve our problems. And of course, you would have educators stay in the field of study, right? Or stay in the field of practice. They would love what they're doing. Aside what they get from it, they're also becoming productive, right? So I think those are like some of the ways we get this sorted.
Awesome. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. Yes. Oh, yes. And yes, physical space. We're looking into that. Hopefully. And one particular thing you said is looking into our curriculum. And that was why I asked the Honorable that question. How can we make our curriculum more relevant to us, right? How can we ensure that it is culturally informed in the sense that it is targeted at our own students, right? It is solving our own problems. It's preparing our students to solve our problems, not the problems just outside of Africa, right? Yes, how can we prepare them to not just, because many times we always focus on, yes, they have to be global, so that they can stand with other students. Oh, well and good, but how can they solve the issues in our country first so that they can even go global in the first place? Yes. So I'll go to my last question and free to answer that question for us. Let's look at the curriculum, because you've already mentioned curriculum, and most definitely we have to talk about the curriculum now. This is our Nigeria curriculum, our 1988 curriculum, It's not bad. Please don't get me wrong. It's not bad. It's not bad because it has experience changes, right? 2008 experience change, 2014 experience change, 2022, they brought history back. And I was like, well, that's good. You guys are late, but that's a good step in the right direction, So yes, it has experienced many changes, but with all of these changes, regardless, Faith, do you think that the curriculum is relevant enough with the subject that they brought? For example, one day I was talking about data processing. And I was like, why is that subject? And another person was like, it's actually very useful. And my TSTA students can relate because I said this in the class. I'm like, why? And somebody else was like, yeah, it's just because it's not relevant to you as a person, what you do. I'm like, so why do you feel like that would be relevant to some other students that have no interest in data processing? Why not move it to some, do you understand? I'm just the relevance and all that. So
Yeah.
post-COVID, we are now in the post-COVID era, even though here in Canada, some people don't want to agree that we are post-COVID because some people are still getting down with COVID and some people are still dying from COVID. So what do you think that our curriculum is relevant enough, like to our curriculum is relevant to capture the changes post-COVID? And do you think that it makes our students ready to adjust to these changes and become who we hope they become in future?
That is a very wonderful question. Thank you, Adora. And thank you, Brad, for the, deep insights into how teachers can, contribute to their quota. The curriculum is a work in progress. It's not where it used to be, but it's still a work in progress. And I would always say that the evidence of a developed economy, right, is like a reflection of the human capacity development. And this can only be achieved in education, like through different levels of education. So that is why I always try to see the bigger goal. What is the vision of this curriculum? What is it trying to raise the kids to be? Is it raising them to be, go into business? Is it raising them to think independently? And we can say that Africa has its own problem, but at the same time, our problem in a way kind of spills into global problem, because what is affecting the world would also affect us, right? And it is very important that the curriculum also is tailored towards those problems, right? So I can remember in secondary school where I was asked to take shorthand and intro tech, and I was punished severely because I did not, and here I am today teaching. I'm like, why did I have to suffer so much for shorthand? I don't know if you remember shorthand.
And typewriting.
And intro tech and drawing, like as if I wanted to be an architect. And that's, in a way, we still have that problem, currently, where there are some subjects that the students do not really have to take because it doesn't really speak into what they want to, like, it doesn't really fit into the future of work. Let me say something about the future of work, right? So there is a need for everybody, all hands to be on deck, policy leaders, school leaders, the government. There is a need for a kind of communication, like collective effort, for every stakeholder to sit down and plan. What is the bigger goal? What do we have? What is the vision? And the problem I have with Nigeria is that it's as if there is no American. We have American dream. We have the American dream. What exactly is it that we are working together? That we are working towards. So when this is done, then we'll be able to break it down systematically. Okay, for education, these are the skills that we want, the students to acquire and everything. So we want to actually encourage a curriculum that encourages the students to think outside the box, right? So there is a need to just remove all these subjects. I don't teach primary curriculum again, so I would not particularly know, but I would say that there might be some outdated subjects that is still there, that is still finding its way there. And then let's just focus only on, remove this extra workload. If we look at it, some of the subjects, the students don't need it. So why not remove them? It's just stressing the kids too. And it's let's make room for their brain to acquire what would be relevant to their own life, right? To their own everyday life. Let's make the curriculum something they can adapt to their everyday life. So, and then looking at the fact that there is a shift in technology paradigm, and there is a need to also start to introduce them gradually, right, into all this, preparing them for the future, starting from primary school. So I can basically mention 3 areas right now that there is an urgent need for us to, just revamp that curriculum. The first one is to infuse climate education, because that is not just a global problem. It's also very, it's applicable to us in our own context too. There is flooding everywhere. It's raining in January where we're supposed to be having Harmattan, and then Harmattan has its own usefulness where palm oil, to help palm oil. You dig what I'm trying to say? So climate education should be introduced to make students environmentally aware. right? Also, we should also bring back the vocational entrepreneurship skills. There is a need for our students to know that, develop business skills, execute projects, become their own person all through this skill. And then also introduce curriculum that would, help them acquire creativity, problem solving, creative thinking, problem solving, leadership, financial literacy. There are a whole lot of things that is acceptable right now that we need to just bring back into the curriculum, find a way to incorporate it into our subject. And then I think there is one more. I think that has skipped my mind right now. So basically, the government needs to partner with school leaders, right? School leaders, stakeholders, and let's just transform this education, transform the curriculum, have a bigger goal, right, and then prepare our students for the future. Also prepare them for the future of work, which would be AI, robotics, engineering. Right now people are no longer, banking sector is there is a huge shift in the banking sector. It's not what we used to know again. Robots are being introduced and everything. So there is a need for us to bring in professionals. Then we design our curriculum to prepare us for the future. Thank you.
Right, amazing. Yes. He touched on most of the areas that we have to touch on. Yes. And talking about preparing a student for the world of work, ensuring that they can. I'm going to pause because there was something that one of my classmates said, and was like, it's not really about saying we should prepare our students for the future of work in the sense that we are trying to bring in new subjects. It's about teaching them the basics, which you have mentioned: creative thinking, communication, leadership, financial literacy, arithmetic. All of these things are going to be relevant whether they are massive changes or not. So if you are teaching your child how to solve problems, you're teaching your students how to solve problems, whatever issues or problems that they face in the future, they're able to create something that can solve those problems. So it's always going back to the basics, like you said. Why are we teaching this curriculum? What do we want to achieve? How sustainable is it? And also I want to mention that there's this disparity I see between what they do in the public education system and private. So, more schools in the private are now creating their own curriculum, sort of, they are saying, oh, this is what we want to teach our students. But then you go
redesigning it.
Exactly. And then you go to the public space for some, and then you see that they are following verbatim what they are what is in the curriculum. And some of those things are not really relevant. That's why some of their students are like, I'm not going to school. They call their parents, I'm in school, but they've gone to play football somewhere, because that's what they're more interested in. But I want to say thank you so much for giving us giving us this time and pouring out wisdom to our attendees today in this panel discussion. We appreciate you guys. Did you learn anything? I want to see your comments. Did you learn anything? Did you learn anything from the panel discussion? Were they parts? Because some of these things will hit your mind. You'll be like, yes, that's true. Was there any part of the panel discussion that hit you and you were like, this is very true. We need to work on this. I need to work on this. I want to hear from you quickly before I hand over to our moderators. Where are we? I'm waiting for your comments. I want to know, were there parts of this panel discussion that you learned something, you took home? And then you can also ask your questions. Put your questions in the Q&A box. Let me know. Let me know if you have questions. Yes, please.
While we're waiting for the question, something happened to me today, and that will be the first time such will be happening to me. So we've had this issue of students delaying to assemble in the morning. When the bell goes, you see them just looking, and then teachers start shouting, you're supposed to assemble. And then they're looking at you, dragging their feet. So it has been going for a while. And today, I think the person on duty got so angry. And then while they assembled, they told everyone to go down on their knees. Now, while that was happening, a parent was in the school, and without really asking politely while the students were on their knees, she just rushed them like, why didn't you kneel down? Why would you tell them to kneel down? Like, so it caused some rancor. And then, so while the argument was going on, she pulled the child away that I wouldn't allow you to tell my child to kneel down and all that. Okay, so while that argument was going on, I went to her. I said, Ma, can I ask you one question? And she was like, I don't want to hear any stupid question from you. I said, Ma, you need to listen to the question I want to ask you. It's very important. And I said, if you continue with this, even all the students were looking at her, why is she acting like that? I said, Ma, if you continue like this, how would you want your son to see his teachers after now? And the next one was like, you are just an idiot. Why we are I'm like, Ma, I thought she was going to slap me. I just stepped back. My colleagues, they saw I was serious already, but I was just trying to hold myself, and then they held me like, Mr. Watson, please just don't say anything. I just raised my hand. I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. And when I got to the class, it was my own student saying, Mr. Watson, who is that nonsense woman coming to disgrace herself? Coming to disgrace herself in school. And I heard that I even told you that you're an idiot. I was going to slap you. I didn't do anything. I was like, if I slap her or if I respond, how would you see me? So I don't know. I think just like she said, teaching is a very emotional job. And today that scene just kept playing and playing and playing. That, it was a first experience for me. Like, and recently I've been having this rethink. You're going about a job passionately, and then it's not as if everyone is or anyone is even appreciating what you're doing the way they're supposed to. Of course, not all of us are really teaching because of the money. Many of us are there because of the passion, because of the call, because of the contribution that we know that we are we're bringing into the system or to the table. And then things like this are happening. I think these are one of the reasons some people just want to leave. Teachers are not respected the way they ought to be. They are not respected the way they even used to be there. They look down on them, and then the parents still trust that these teachers will help instill discipline in their children, help build their future, but then they'll still be the one to come and tell you you're not doing your job right. And I was asking, I said, man, all these teachers you're seeing, is it that our head, our head is not in the right place or something? But then, I was so embarrassed today, but when I got to the class, the question my student asked me just put me at peace. Somebody said, just leave her alone. She just came to embarrass herself. At that point, I was just at peace. Okay. I'm holding my. So this was just. Yes, you said what?
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said, can I say something about the issue?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I will speak from different perspectives, from the teacher's perspective, from the parents' perspective, and from the kids' perspective also. And I think it's the general problem that students are more sluggish, right? And we just have to be patient, because even when they are punished, right, the same day they repeat it, right? So I think one way to solve that problem would be to give incentives. Okay, the first 100 students to get this are going to get, if there is a point reward system, you're going to get 1 point or something like that. While the last students are going to, because some parents do not take kindly to physical punishment, right? I think that is the reality of, education now. And some students do not really take, some parents. So if there could be other measures that could be put in place that would not require the student to go through physical punishment, it will be nice. And then from the school's perspective, rather, is there a particular communication? Do the parents realize that there is the possibility of students?
Network. Mind your network.
All right.
Being punished, right? Because there's some. Okay, so there would be some schools that would insist that. Hello.
They can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, network.
Am I breaking?
Yeah, yes, breaking. Coming and going.
Apologies. I think it's my internet. Am I?
Are you using the Nigerian internet? Are you in Nigeria presently?
That is not funny. That
internet.
is not funny. So basically, I'm saying that is there a particular, because there has to be communication with the parent. They have to understand that in this school that my child is, they can be punished, like either through cane. I do not support, physical punishment, right? I don't want to say physical assault. So I don't support the using of cane, the using of kneeling down, or because I believe that students can communicate, and then you can put measures in place. Okay, if you do this, just that this is your punishment. So as the school communicated with parents, and is everyone on board, right? Are all the parents on board with that? Then thirdly, on the part of the teachers, I think one thing is I admire the way you responded, because parents are always right. They are the clients. So not arguing with the parent is the best approach. Oh, the parent is when the parent is angry and everything, okay, all right, we are sorry, it won't happen again. Because when you try to argue, it's not going, it might escalate, and then actually some parents are really aggressive and they would slap. I've seen parents do that, right? And nothing is going to happen after that, or it causes a very ugly scene. So I really admire your control. You said?
Tian is surprised that you said some parent could even slap.
I mean,
yes. I've seen parents do it, right?
Yeah, of course.
They bring police or soldiers, just because corrected. Yeah. So there has to be clear communication between the school and the parent that these are our procedures. Are you okay with it? Some parents are not okay with students kneeling down, with students raising their hands up. They believe it's absurd. They believe it's not, since they are not doing it themselves to their kids. So that's what it is. It is what it is, right? Parents can only allow what they do to their kids, not what they do not do to their kids. So I believe that different strategies to go about it. And I'm sorry about the experience that you had today, right? So
I think I love it. I love it now. I didn't like it then, but I love it now.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I had to experience that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to know that your kids know that you did the right thing. So imagine if you said something wrong, they in their space would also say, come on, Mr. Bass shouldn't have done this, right? I mean, this still again boils down to the respect we have for educators. If that was a medical doctor in his space, that woman would do that. So I think parents need to get to the place where they understand that teachers are also handling the lives of their kids, right?
Yeah.
With dignity and respect. I mean,
yes.
Faith has said sorry, so we are sorry on behalf of
her. For me, I have not experienced that, but I had a very near experience where a parent was trying to form. And the truth is, the way you carry yourself as well sometimes changes the game a lot. It changed the game a lot. So she had seen me a couple of times, and so she was like, this your teacher, she's the, And so this particular day, she tried to interfere with my process with her daughter. And I'm like, I let her finish speaking. By the time I started speaking English, she kept quiet and everything. So so sometimes when they're in the heat of the moment, and the truth is that for you, Mr. Babatunde, that woman will later on, and it depends on the child. The child is a wise child. Some children will do it in a way that they will now sell you to their parents, and so when the parents now come to school, they will now start seeing you in a different like that. Oh, you said you did not, that kind of thing. That was it for me. So my students will sell my market literally to their parents. And so anytime their parents come to school, they'll be like, Miss Adora, this is my children, they cannot stop talking about you. And I'm like, yeah, those are my kids. Keep going, guys. Let's do this. So it's a partnership, right? All right. Thank you so much. Do we have questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Do we have comments? Do you have something you'd like to share before we go? This is the last segment for today. It's been a wonderful time together. I had fun and I'm ready for tomorrow. Yes. So does anyone have any comments, any question? Just one or two questions before we go. Anybody?
While we are waiting for the attendees to drop their questions, if they have any, I have one of my own, and it's always something that I've thought about. So piggybacking off of what the speakers have said concerning curriculum, I want to pick your brains a bit and ask this. How do you think it will affect, our economic growth as a nation if, we have that option of, because I know that in developed countries, right, they have that option of, okay, once a child completes high school, now between high school and college, you have the right to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to college, I want to do XYZ, I want to do this instead. Yes, there's that whole, okay, college is expensive and all of that, right? But how do you think that it would affect us here if we have structures like that in place for our children, where it's not just, oh, you must go to the university, because if you don't have that piece of paper, right, you're not able to get a proper job or whatnot, or if you're not ready to work your hide off, right, because you don't have a certificate, you now have to work like 5 times extra, or it would take 10 times extra to do what it is that you want to do. So I just want to pick your brains a bit. How do you think that would help us economically as a country?
Over to our panelists.
Okay, so let me just go before we have it. So I think it will help us positively, and that is simply because if you take, for instance, let's assume during our summer holidays, we have kids always coming back to school to do maths, English, and basic science. Imagine we had a structure where our kids can always intern at different organizations, right? We're talking about 21st century skills. We're talking about preparing for the future of work. We're talking about collaboration. That's where kids learn collaboration. That's where they learn how to solve problems. So I'm interning at age 10. I'm interning at 13. So, I mean, that kid is getting out of secondary school and he or she is saying that I have almost all the potentials to get to do what probably a university graduate is doing. And so he or she already decides, oh, I mean, from this thing that I'm currently doing, I think I'll be best fitted here. And so they're directly going to where they should be. I mean, it's one of the conversations that we really need to have around our curriculum redesign, right? And I'll just, in one word, I'll just call that career mapping. We need to first of all map the options of careers we have in the country. What does it look like in terms of jobs that we're looking for or that are available for, I mean, people that are graduates, right? And so that again begins to inform what people would want to do. It's still because currently in Nigeria, I mean, paper still looks like it's very important, but with the insurgence of technology, I mean, with your BSc or not, if you are a good data analyst, I mean, you can get into any organization and you're strictly employed to do that role. So with time, these old paper conversations will phase off. And I mean, but like you said, it's going to be a big growth for us in our economy, right? Because we all really do not need to go to school. There are some kids that should be in the technical colleges redesigning the tools that we need at different sphere of life, right? Sometimes when I discuss with the teachers that I currently manage as a leadership development manager at Teach for Nigeria, and I hear somebody say, so after this fellowship, I'm going for my PhD. And I'm saying, why are you going for your PhD, right? Is it that you're going for your PhD because someone said if you do your PhD, you get a better job, right? Or there's something better waiting for you, or it's because career-wise, you want to be a researcher. So there are lots of things we do right now that everybody's just doing it. If you even check the whole data analytics space, it looks like there's a rush. Everybody's going in there, like there's a goal there. We really don't take time to think. We don't take time to reflect. But I think that these are things that we also need to start teaching our kids in the classroom. Think, reflect before you even take the next line of action. And definitely, I know that in coming years, right, things will get better. Yeah.
Hopefully. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our panelists for an amazing session. Thank you also to Adora for a beautiful anchoring of the panel session. So if we don't have any more questions, we're just going to go over some announcements. First off, the summit it continues tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Don't be late, though. Be as early as possible and get your front row seats. So we are going to convene here again tomorrow, 4 p.m. The summit continues. So here are the important announcements. Please take note. So registration for the 2024 TFLA summit has begun. Right. Yes, we like to do things properly, right? So if the registration for that has begun, you can register at the link will be dropped in the comments. So the registration link is bit.ly/TFLA Summit 2024. The link will be dropped in the comment section. So just go ahead and click on that link so that you get, front row seats to that before everybody else starts to register. So I was seeing some alumni of the Skilled Teacher Academy. I saw some of you in the comments. All right, so this is for those that would like to join the free training for teachers in school. You can join the wait list. Use the link bit.ly/TFLAPD sessions. So click on that link. It will take you to the wait list. Join the wait list, and you'll be given privilege over everybody else that joins fresh, right? That's why there's a wait list. So please do that. It's very insightful. I mean, you can see that from just today's session alone. I'm sure that some people's notepads are full already. So yes, join the wait list if you would like to take the free training for teachers who are in school. Yeah, join the wait list, use the session. Okay, the link is there. So just click on that and join that. We also have a survey. So at the end of today's session, please fill the survey and let us get your feedback. All of these things that you'll be saying in the comments. Oh, nice session, beautiful session, this and that. Yes. We want that in the survey. Let's know what we are doing right that we can improve on. Let's know what we are not doing well enough that you think that we can do better. We want your feedback. So please fill in the survey forms at the end of today's session. And also, for throughout the summit, we'll have surveys go out. And as I've been singing since, please don't let the conversation stop here. Drop all the things that you've gleaned off of today's sessions. Drop the nuggets that you've gleaned off of our keynote speakers, our panelists. Just drop all these things that you've shared. If you want to share on Instagram, please tag us at the Fresh Look _Africa. That's at the Fresh Look _Africa. Tag us there. And if you are sharing your nuggets on Twitter, please ensure that you use the hashtags, the official hashtags for the summit. We have two. The first one is hashtag Education Matters, and the other one is hashtag TFLA Summit 2023. Let's not forget to keep the conversations going. And finally, I believe that we've all gleaned a lot from today's session, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. We go again tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. If you would like to support the community, at the beginning of this, for those who are new to the Fresh Look Africa, we've said that it's a non-profit. So, teachings go on, trainings go on just to help teachers who are in training and teachers who are doing this professionally as well. And, I can tell you for free that a lot of resources, both financial and mental and emotional and, time-wise, everything, a lot of resources go into putting all of this together. So please, if you would like to support this cause and make donations, please make donations to the Fresh Look Africa TFLA. You can send the donations to Wema Bank, the account number 02350-82570. I'll take that again. The account number 02350-82570. the bank Wema Bank and the account TFLA. So please, let's make our donations and keep this burden. I'm sure that we want to, like, as one of our panelists was saying earlier, Mr. Bright, he was saying that, I mean, you know, we would like to take this off of the virtual space and have a physical summit. That would be cool, right? Yes. But it takes a lot to put all of that together, right? So please, whatever, if you'd like to partner with TFLA, if you'd like to make donations, the account number and the name of the bank is in the chat box. So you can just copy that out, you know, when you're ready, make your donations. As I've said already, you know, we meet same time here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Don't be late, and don't forget your notepads and pens at home. Let's be here sharp and ready to glean off of our speakers that would be at the session. Thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you so much. We also want to thank our sponsors. We have Beeline sponsoring us. It's a fashion brand. Someone already won a gift from Beeline already. We have the Indulgence sponsoring us as well. So there's a guy that is going to win a gift box. Who is that guy going to be? We don't know yet. So keep your ears open, all right? Pay attention. And we have a free portrait session for teachers. Now, we have been saying we want the teaching profession to be more attractive to people. Yes, it starts from you making yourself look attractive to the world, right? For people to see that, yes, are you sure you're a teacher? Yes, I am a teacher, right? So we have a free portrait session to be given to one special person by Ambi Photography. So I want to thank each of the sponsors for saying yes to helping us and for being a part of this program. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you. So you can go to their booths there. You can go to the expo ground. So in the lobby as well, there's an expo ground where you can see their booth. It's going to be there open from 4 to 7 o'clock. Just see what they're about. You can send them a message or a chat and they're going to respond. If you need a photographer, if you need a fashion designer, if you need, as a guy, you want to revamp, you want to go to the classroom, you want to look good, there's someone there for you as well. All right. And you can also meet any of our contact representatives at the booth as well to ask questions about the Fresh Look Africa. There's someone who will be there to respond to you. Okay. I'm done. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening. We'll see you here at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We have our learning tracks. Pick your learning track before coming. So have it at the back of your mind that we have learning tracks. So once we are done from the main stage, we move into our learning tracks and then we come back to the main stage again. So we have 4 learning tracks. We have Mr. Ibrahim, who will be taking us on the hundreds of online resources that we have available. I will be taking you on goal setting. I like doing that at the beginning of the year. So I will be taking my amazing goal setting class tomorrow. Yes, I'll be taking you that. We also have Dr. Toyin. She'll be taking you on personal leadership. I will have Carolyn all the way from Kenya. She's going to be taking you on STEAM innovations for educators and for your students as well. So when you come, it's going to be fire, fire, fire. So just jump into any of the sessions and you'll have someone who will be there to take you on a journey. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's me, Ambassador Vasimika, the microphone ambassador, signing out. See you guys tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you tomorrow. Have a good evening.
Bye.